Good morning from South Africa. Hi, New Beginnings Church of Fort Francis. I just want to say a special thank you. Thank you to Pastor John for being part of this journey right from the beginning. I remember back when we had a conversation about you guys donating Bibles so that we could place God's living word into the hearts and lives of each of our kids. So thank you very much. Thank you to Joy for all of your support and the way that you've cared for us. And really, it's your financial support and your prayers that have made a difference in the hearts and the lives of the kids, that we get an opportunity, really a privileged opportunity, to be able to share the love of Jesus. And so I just want to say thank you from our hearts to yours. May God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Jeff and I, along with our daughter Samara, felt a profound calling to leave Canada and dedicate our lives full-time as missionaries. In the midst of the pandemic, we sold our home and we returned here to South Africa January 1st, 2021. Along this journey, God also called my very dear friend and longtime ministry colleague, Marlene, to join us on this mission. South Africa is a nation marked by challenges such as poverty, corruption, the history of apartheid, and gender-based violence, as well as high unemployment rates, just to name a few. Yet, amidst these struggles, God is bringing healing and hope to these wonderful people. Despite the complexities and spiritual darkness, many hearts are eager and hungry, yearning for Jesus. Sawabona's mission is to ignite the hearts, minds, and souls of children, youth, and young adults through teaching, discipling, and inspiring a generation poised and ready to transform Africa. To achieve this, we set an ambitious goal, a God-sized vision that surpasses our own capabilities, because we must always be dependent on Him. We envision a South Africa where young people thrive as spirit-filled leaders, delivering lasting change while living in alignment with God's design. Currently, the youth and young adults face a staggering 65% unemployment rate. Our local university, for example, reported an astounding 200,000 applications received, but an enrollment target of only 10,000 students. Living here, hope might seem scarce, but we proudly proclaim that our hope is in Jesus, and His hope, as you know, is everlasting and eternal. One remarkable trait of the South African people is their resilience, and we are committed to calling forth all that God sees within each individual, and that their true identity is found in Him. The word Sawubona, a common Zulu greeting, means we see you. But we affirm that it is God who truly sees each one, and it's through that lens that we see them too.
Today I'm here with Marlene, our program director. I want to say a special welcome.
Thank you.
And before we dive into some questions, let's take a moment to celebrate the growth and the work that's being done in Pumlani. It truly feels like a miracle. And we recognize that there was a challenge on the horizon, yet we didn't have a real clear understanding of what the solution might be. But through prayer, we found that God had a special surprise for us. So tell us about it.
Yes, it's so exciting. Since reopening our programs in 2021, post-COVID, God has been surprising us to no end. He has provided in ways we could not have imagined. In 2021, we relaunched our programs for 30 girls. We had been assured access to a community church as our meeting space, but on the very first day of program, we were denied entry and told that we could not host our programs indoors. Faced with no other option, we gathered outside, unsure of what would come next. But God had prepared a solution. From the very first day until graduation, every Wednesday afternoon was free of rain, allowing us to run our program without interruption. What seemed like an obstacle turned into a testimony of God's faithfulness. Today, our programs have expanded to 2 communities, now serving over 250 youth a week. God surprised us once again when a mother of one of our participants reached out to us. Through her daughter, she had heard about our program and witnessed the positive change in her daughter's life. She was so moved by what she saw, she invited us to start a program in her community, offering her own garage as a meeting space. So, Jeff, what began as a small step of faith has grown into 4 dynamic programs, including life skills training, an early literacy initiative, a games day, and youth camps. As a result, Sawubona Project is now deeply embedded in this community, reaching more children and youth with hope and transformation. With our rapid growth in the community of Pumlani, we are literally busting at the seams. And with our literacy program participants having to meet outdoors, we knew we needed a larger facility. So, Jeff, this is where the surprise comes in. We boldly prayed for direction, asking God to reveal where He wanted us to go next. In His perfect timing, He surprised us once more. Through a conversation with one of our facilitators and a follow-up discussion with a community leader in Pumlani, God opened the door to a spacious new location in a community church. And this new space, with ample room for our programs, is nothing short of a miracle and an answer to prayer. God is so good.
Mar, thank you. I really love it when God shows up with a God-sized miracle. But let me ask you a personal question. How did it feel to leave Canada and quit your job and to follow God, to live in a foreign country, in an environment that is all brand new to you?
Thank you. Well, I like to say that there's no better place than to be in the center of God's will. Regardless of what you're called to do in your life, it requires a step, well, actually many steps of faith, and to walk in the fullness of His purposes for your life, to link arms and to partner with Him. There are no shortcuts when it comes to stepping out in faith. It is impossible to do without the conviction of your calling. It takes courage and a complete surrender. And boy, it's not for the faint of heart. However, when it all comes together and we are walking in His purposes, it is so fulfilling. My favorite verse in the Bible is from Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. No matter how challenging it can be, what unexpected things happen, you can trust that He will never change. More so when the challenges come, and believe me, they do, you can always go back to the assurance that He is the one who called you. And as it is in the Word, it says that we can trust His plans and His purposes are good, and that He will make a way if we hold fast to Him. Yes, Jeff, to leave all that is familiar in Canada was filled with a lot of emotion. We all miss our loved ones. But yesterday, in the community of Mshozi, I was reminded why I am here. A beautiful 10-year-old little girl came to me with tears in her eyes. She had to step out of program. It was becoming too emotional for her. She shared that she was sad because she had been beaten by her brother, not just once, but every single day. As I held her hand, she lowered her head. As I prayed, she cried. As we sat and talked, I saw this glimmer of hope in her eyes. I couldn't change her situation in that moment, nor replace what she longed for, but I could give her something so powerful: the experience of being seen, loved, and cared for by God. That in and itself was a solace to my mother's heart.
So the question is why are we doing what we're doing in community? Why is it so critically important that we're doing this? And I guess my second part would be, what are you seeing that really matters?
Well, I think what you just said is the key. What is the most critical question? And I think it is the why. The work of Sawubona Project is not just about addressing the social issues. It is actually about transformation. We need to be asking ourselves, what is God doing and how can we partner with Him and be part of the plans He has for their lives? Jeff, you don't have to spend a lot of time in the communities where we work to realize the pervasive issues and the impact these social problems are having in the lives of the youth. This is why our life skills and literacy programs are so important. We are in the community because the youth need hope, guidance, and opportunities to rise above the struggles they face. Drug abuse, low self-esteem, unemployment, violence and abuse, early pregnancy. These are not just statistics. They are real battles youth fight every single day. Our programs give them the tools to build their confidence, learn, grow into the leaders who can break free of these cycles. But beyond the practical skills and literacy programs, our why is rooted in something so much deeper: the unshakable truth that every child and youth is seen, valued, and loved by God. We are His hands and feet in this mission, bringing light and truth where there is darkness. Our work is in partnership with Him, restoring dignity, purpose, and establishing a thriving faith for every young person we reach. Establishing a thriving program in a new community requires resources. The training and support of new community leaders, discipleship training, nutritious and hot meals, and program resources. As we take this step of faith in 2025, we believe God will not only surprise us, He will open the right doors, just like He did for that church in Pumlani, and provide the resources necessary to widen our reach. Together, we can do this.
I think the final question that I want to ask you is how are we going to make this happen? How are we going to reach our vision and our dreams and our goals? I know that we've talked about this before. We've had a number of people in the community have asked us to bring our programs to the community, to bring it to their church, or to bring it to their school. But I think before you answer that question, I think one thing needs to be stated is that our program is not just a bunch of programs or modules. It's not a magic pill or a seminar. It's not a teaching whereby the kids can check a box to say that they passed. It's really about taking the kids on a journey. It's like walking with them hand in hand and asking questions. It's pushing back on some of the beliefs and the cultural values that they may have. And it's being invited into the family's home, praying with them, sharing and caring with those inside the circle and those that are outside the circle. So Mar, how are we going to actually make this happen?
Well, yes, it's been asked many, many times. We've been asked, like you said, to bring our programs to other communities. Sadly, because there are many communities across South Africa that don't have access to anything like what we're offering, leaving the youth extremely vulnerable. So as you can imagine, with the number of requests that we have had, we need your support. We need your prayers, and we need God's wisdom to be able to discern what is our next step.
So I asked the question to Marlene, how are we going to make this happen? Well, I believe that the answer is in this room. As you are listening and as you are watching, I believe the answer is the miracle that's inside of us. You know, I want to look at one of my favorite miracles in Matthew 14, where Jesus is feeding the 5,000. And you know, really the ingredients for that miracle are already present, but yet not actioned. You look at the situation, and as Jesus is teaching, and although the disciples are listening, their eyes are looking around for a solution to a problem that they see is coming. You know, the easy answer for the disciples, and he says here, is he tells Jesus just to send them away because we don't have any food, or we don't have enough food for the amount of people that's here. And you know, we oftentimes see natural problems and we expect to have natural solutions, but in God's environment, there are natural problems, but they have miraculous solutions and outcomes. See, Jesus is reminding the disciples to, you know, if you stick with me, if you turn with me, if you put all of your concerns and your problems and your troubles towards me, watch what I can do. And, you know, he takes the little boy's lunch, and, you know, I think that's part of the miracle right there. You have a little boy who's been given a lunch. He's gone past lunchtime. It is now dinner time, and that boy hasn't eaten his lunch. I don't know what boy you know that hasn't left home and has already eaten the lunch as they're traveling. So to have a boy who still has his lunch with him at supper time is really a miracle in itself. You know, what's also very interesting is this boy, he volunteered his lunch. Even though he must have been hungry, he gave it away. And yet not only did his lunch feed over 5,000 people, but he himself didn't go hungry in this miracle. So my challenge to each one of you is that I ask you, what has God given you? What has God placed in your hand that you can voluntarily give away or give up? Maybe you're going to trust him with a coffee or a lunch that you're going to give up, or even a meal or something greater. As you give it to him, I say, wait for it and watch and see what God is going to do in that moment. Maybe God is going to change a heart and change a life in Africa. And maybe he's going to help you in the situation as well. So I encourage you, join with us, partner with us as we grow and expand the ministry and the work that we're doing here in Africa. We are about changing hearts for this next generation in Africa. God bless.